I really don't have any idea. Totally zero knowledge about it. Like, I only know I want to try it. That's it.
Sadly, that was my plan. But this whole situation,
You're itching to take a picture, so the only available things around you is the only subject that you have.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, Ria isn't with us today as she's working on some of her projects. Uh, so things are going really well for her now. She was part of Middle East's first virtual reality mental health art exhibition, Safe Spaces VR. I'll link that out below in the description. But we do have a different person guest joining us today, and it's an interesting because the last time I've spoken to him was over 10 years ago, and we have John joining us.
Yeah,
So
wait.
John, yeah.
Hello, what's up, guys?
So John, give us a brief intro. Like I know you're into photography, but give us a brief intro of how you started, what you got into, what sort of photography you do.
So yeah, I remember way back in 2016. I already here in New York. Like I just want to try something new. Like I'm pretty bored, and you know, my friend keeps showing me this very cool camera. Like, wow, you took very nice pictures, and you do have a very good camera. And I'm wondering, what if I try those? Like, just just for fun. Like I'm not like, to be honest, like when I got my first camera, it's like I really don't have any idea. Totally zero knowledge about it. Like I only know I want to try it. That's it. But my first camera is a Nikon. I think it's 5500. That is my first. Yeah, actually, yeah. And then I got it from the black market, and then I sold it again. So way back then, 2016, I only took pictures. I only focused in portrait photography with my friends, my coworker. And after that, I keep on learning. I do a lot of portrait, and I start upgrading. Now I do have the uh, Sony. I forgot already. God. Yeah,
A7?
Sony A7 III.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And so I am a New York-based photographer. Now concentrating in mostly like a landscape and portrait. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I saw actually. So I haven't, like I mentioned, I haven't um talked to you in years, and I noticed I found your Instagram account, and your landscape, your cityscape is what I found, and those are really interesting. I'll link that in the description below. But our topic for today is identity, and it's all about like finding your identity, your journey into like establishing yourself as a photographer and what you want to do and how people relate to that, and kind of reflecting on that. And you mentioned earlier like you started out with the portraits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yes.
you do like now you do like cityscape and landscape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like how did that work out for you?
Yeah, at the first place, like I tried a lot of. I tried to shoot a lot of portrait pictures with my friends, and then the first pictures, yeah, it didn't came. I mean, how do you say it? It didn't goes
Turn
well.
out,
I mean,
yeah, the way you wanted to.
mhm. I mean, as you see, I set up in it automatic, like not the manual, and
Yeah.
I. It's the some of the picture. If I'm going to look back, some of the pictures like over contrast, overexposed. Like what? What did I doing? Like I got. I mean, um, it's a good experience that you see all of the mistake you've done before, and then now when I look at my pictures, like wow, it's totally different. I mean, yeah, that's it.
I'm pretty sure you're not like the only one. I mean, even me when I look back, I was like, before like I'd think like, oh, this is a nice picture. But now when I look back, and it was really not that nice. And you could have done better. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So in
right.
retrospect, yeah, given your experience now, you look back, yeah. But like in terms of like identity, because you mentioned you shoot portraits, but now I notice your Instagram, especially, is mostly like landmarks, cityscape, landscape photography. So like, how did that transition, or why that shift? Why did you? How did that happen? Like, you're shooting portraits and now you're doing something different.
Well, I base it on my personality. Like, I'm actually an introvert person, which is, most of my job is actually the opposite of it. I mean, I'm doing servers, I'm doing cashiers, like mostly handle in-person customer. And I mean, I'm good at talking to other people. I'm good when doing service, but deep inside, I'm really introvert. Like, I really want to be with myself only most of the time, unless you're my super friend, like, or my super buddy. Like, I can hang out with you, but most of the time, I want to be alone. I want to create things by myself, by my, my. But how do you say this? It's like I wanna take a picture the way I see it. Nobody suggesting me like, oh, you should take a picture like that. I mean, because it's happened to me a lot of times. Like when I do a portrait photography, they're telling me that I really hate that. I mean, I really hate when people like try to I don't know. It's not manipulate. It's like no, not to manipulate, but try to change the way you see things. So that's why. Yes.
Going back to like Sean Tucker, right? Like that video, like he doesn't like being labeled or people like putting you in boxes. Like, sure, you do things the way you want to. I mean, yeah, sure, you could comment on it, but there really isn't no like you should do it this way. There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you shoot that way. I prefer to shoot this way, or I shot this way because so and so, right? But yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, because of that, my portrait photography became my secondary. I mean, I don't focus on it anymore. Not like I focus on cityscape and other landscape photography. But when you're gonna ask me if where I'm good right now, I'm gonna tell you I am more better at shooting a portrait photography than the landscape. I don't know. I mean, I feel like confident shooting portrait photography. Nah. But yeah, my identity for the photography became my really personality, like being alone, taking pictures by yourself. Yeah, and then if you're going to notice, most of my pictures is moody. But that's just how I feel. Like I want it like a little kind of dark, but still you can see the meaning of the pictures, the subject, something like that.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool, and I see that. I see that in your photos. I mean, your portrait. I see that you still have like your portrait separated on a different Instagram account, and yeah, that I mean, your portraits are amazing as well. Again, not saying that your portraits are better or your landscapes are better. Your
totally
photos,
subjective.
well, I think like in comparison to what I've seen, I think your photos are pretty great, pretty amazing.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I guess you'd say like you do kind of both. You still do like landscape, cityscape, but your preference, you lean towards portrait photography. Or is it the other way around? Like what you do is like portrait, but you lean towards landscape.
No, I want to do more on the landscape, but at the same time, I think my only way of earning money is in portrait.
Through portraits,
just to be honest, because I do have before a client like keep on asking me to shoot her, something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, someday, if I became a professional photographer, might be I'm gonna earn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my job and then gonna focus on being photographer. But right now, yeah, just focus on learning. Just keep on shooting.
Cool. That's really interesting. So I guess like professionally you want to be a portrait photography, but personally your personal like photography style is like more in landscape.
More in landscape, yes.
Awesome. And that's interesting because, like you mentioned, like it's funny because you mentioned like how it reflects your photography, it reflects you, like your life, right? And then I was gonna say like that's sort of what happened to me. Like other parts of your life affect, or your life in general influences your identity as a photographer. And I've considered myself to be a jack of all trades in life in general, with all these different things going on in my life. I mean, for people that have known me for some time, I used to do magic a lot. I don't know. I think
Oh yes,
10
I
years.
remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah. So I
you're
used
one
to
of my cool class. To
yeah.
be honest, like you're one of the cool. Like you're showing me this card trick. Like, oh, how did
Yeah.
you do that? Like, how?
Yeah,
I
so
still
like
remember.
I used to do magic, right? And
Mhm.
even like then, like I think that it's interesting that even as a magician before, I used to branch out in all these genres of magic,
Mhm.
and I think that's sort of bled through with my photography because, just like you, portrait photography is what I wanted, and that's what I fell in love with. That's
Mhm.
where my heart is when it comes to photography. I like doing portrait photography. And initially, when I started out, I never really like thought of doing like street photography, landscape, cityscape, urban photography. That really wasn't in the back of my head.
Mhm.
But now, I find myself like I do portrait photography, but there are times that I want to shoot, and I want to shoot where I don't need a subject to be there. Like I don't need to rely on having a person to be there.
Mhm.
So I found myself like doing like street photography more, landscape photography more, and all that. But sadly, that was my plan. But this whole situation of 2020, this whole pandemic started, and I stopped shooting because I do portraits. Now I can't do
Mhm.
portraits,
Yes,
and
because of
now,
that.
yeah, because of the pandemic, right? And then now, even if I want to do street photography or landscape, I can't even go out. I mean, I can go out to like do the groceries and stuff, but
Mhm.
it's pretty
Mm.
tight
Not
here.
totally out.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, people are freaking out over this over here, and things are pretty tight, so I can't just go out and shoot. It's safer to
Mhm.
just stay indoors, right? Um, so now I find myself sometimes just itching to shoot, wanting to shoot, and there's nothing to shoot. I can't go out, so I find myself like I like pick up old decks of cards from when I used to do
Mhm.
magic. I pick up old decks of cards and I start taking pictures, and I start setting up lights, and I'm doing product photography now. So I'm like doing
Right.
I never thought of doing product photography, but here I am. I'm like taking pictures of all these whatever knickknacks I have here at home. So yeah, like in general, life overall influences what I've done, and generally I don't like the labels. Like when I say
Mhm.
I'm a photographer, I'm a photographer, but I don't just limit myself like I'm a portrait photographer. No, I'm a photographer. I do love portrait photography,
Mhm.
but now more than ever, I'm like
Or
exploring all these other options, all these other things. It's fun. It's crazy.
yeah, so it depends on the situation right now. It's like you're itching to take a picture, so the only available things around you is the only subject that you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
It's like like I mean you get that. I mean I think any creative, any artist gets that. It's like a guitar player. If you take away his guitar,
mhm. Mhm.
he's gonna want to do something, right? So find a way to play the guitar. And in our case, we want in my case, I want to take photos and I want to create photos, create
Mhm.
again like subjective. I want to create art. um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so unable to go out, unable to meet other people, I start doing all this crazy thing. I mean, how has that affected you? Are you still able to go around, go out and take photos and do all this stuff?
On the first 3 months, I can't. I'm totally like only here at my house. Like can't even go outside. I only go outside if I have to buy something very important. But other than that, like I'm stuck here in my room, just playing computer games. Like I'm still itching to shoot on something, but I can't go out. Like even yeah, like you're doing a portrait, a landscape. Me too. It's like I want to go out. I want to shoot someone. I want to shoot a place. Like I can't. I mean, good thing things become a little bit chill. Now people are going outside. Like they can go to like parks and almost everything is now open.
Yeah.
Only there's like a social distancing and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's really affect me. Like because I really want to focus on photography when the pandemic, but I can't because the way things are totally different now. Like yeah, there you go.
Definitely relatable. I mean, I was gonna say like, I had a few things lined up to do. Like aside from like portraits, we also shoot like cosplay, right? I mean, and I think I don't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
right?
saw that. A very nice one.
And I don't necessarily like segregate it. For me it still feels like portrait photography, but
Mhm.
there is a theme that you are following, right? But we had a lot of, not a lot, but we had a few things going on planned for this year, and a few personal things I had planned as well. So, but nope, not traveling, not shooting portraits, no cosplay, no cos events, none of that thing. So it's yeah. So then that led to like all this. Actually, that's what led to this. That's why we started doing this thing as well, because like we don't get to socialize and talk about photography and do all these other stuff. So we ended up doing this nice little podcast. It's something I've always wanted to do, but now at least we get to do it.
Yeah, that's like really come out to my mind like a while ago. Like, what if you, definitely you, Paco. Like, what if because you have a lot of knowledge, you're good at talking. I mean, why don't you do a podcast? Like, you share the things that you experienced when you're doing photography. Like, you're doing a videos, you're doing a tutorial. Why
Yeah.
don't you do a podcast? Now there it is. Like, look at you, sharing your experience, talking to other people, getting their opinion and experience. Something like I really want to continue listening.
But that's funny because I've always wanted to do that, but it's also funny because a lot of what you said actually is very relatable, because I am actually an introvert. I mean, I'm introverted, but I just know how to articulate things because like I said, I used to do magic. I used to perform in front of people, so I just got used to talking. But normally, I do want to have my own space, my
Your own
time.
space, right?
Yeah, and keep away from everything else. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I am more naturally introverted actually. So
Mhm.
very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, aside from, so I'm gonna link your Instagram accounts here.
It's
So that they
actually
can,
not updated. I don't know why. I have no idea. Like I have a lot of pictures. Like I want
Yeah.
to post, but I don't have any time. I don't know why, but here you go. But I'm gonna keep on posting stuff.
cool. But I'll link that out. I'll put that in the description below so that they can find your work and other stuff. But yeah, it was an amazing chat having you here. We try to keep things short. Because of that, in the video we went on for like an hour and longer than an hour, and we
Mhm.
got sidetracked, and we can keep on talking and all that. But before we go, is there anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to talk about?
Um, I don't know. Maybe what we're talking about identity, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I would like to share something like um, that color. For me, it's like my identity and color gradients that I use in the photography have to be matched.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
finding like
don't
that
do-
style, that
Yeah.
style they talk about. Yeah.
Mhm. So that is gonna be your identity for me. So
Yeah.
only lately I found out my identity. Like when you go to look my recent pictures, it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of teal. My shadows still like moody, still
Yeah.
moody.
Yeah.
But that is how I really want my picture is. That's how my personality is. So there you go. I mean, if you're shooting pictures, uh, after a while you're going to see that you're putting your personality on it, like
Yeah.
on the way you shoot it, something like that.
Actually, I was gonna say like, when I look at your photos, sometimes I look at them, how you color grade them. It reminds me sort of the way that. Are you familiar with I think his name is Alan Palander.
Alan Palandro.
Yeah.
Maybe if I see some of the pictures, but I'm not too familiar with the names.
Let me look him up. I know that if you look up Alan, is it Alan Palander?
Alan Palandro, right? Let me see.
I believe it's Alan Palander. I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong.
Palandro.
Sorry, it's Alan Palander, not Alan.
Alan
Sorry.
Palandro. Oh yeah, there you go. Hmm.
Yeah. So if you look at it like his color grade works, it's very high contrast, moody, and he does do like the teal and orange.
Oh, I see the resemblance now. Yeah, I see that, like orange and
Especially with his like his cityscape shots. When I look at your shots and I look at it's like, and Alan Palander's a good photographer. I don't really follow his work. He's a good photographer. Like
Mhm.
I've seen his work. It looks amazing. But when I see your photos, it's like I feel like it's there at par. Your cityscape and urbanscape. It's very similar. It's very like the quality and the color grading is nice. It's amazing.
I hope we can shoot together. Like here, if you go here in New York, like yo, I want to show you this spot. Like I really want to take a picture. Like most of the time, like in the Midtown in Manhattan, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of like photography videos and like New York must be like amazing. I mean, there are a lot of like aesthetic places to shoot. Whether you're shooting like cityscape or landscape or portraits, there's like a lot of areas that are very nice to shoot in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's yeah.
And
yeah.
so that not include the sunset, the sunrise, the cloudy, the foggy. If you're
Yeah.
going to add it together with the subject, you're gonna create additional creativity to the pictures.
Yeah, it adds that layer, another layer of aesthetic that you normally wouldn't get. I mean, like, it's hard to shoot here. It's hard to shoot in certain areas, so I get frustrated a lot of the times. I'm not sure over there, but like, mostly I shoot here and mostly shoot in like BGC or Manila. But there are times that I want to shoot, aside from like city urban scapes, I do want to shoot like landscape in general. And it's not easy to do that here because when you're in Manila,
Yes.
you can't really. There's
Going to-
nowhere else. Going somewhere else takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, the transfer is kind of hard. Like it's like gonna take you a lot of times going to that point A to point B.
Yeah. The traffic is crazy. Yeah. Definitely.
And also the weather. To be honest, like you don't want to go outside taking pictures in a very very hot condition, like
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so whenever I
kind of
go
hard.
out, it is. It's like so it's either too hot or it's rainy, right? So like
Mhm.
every time I go out to a shoot, I always have like at least one or two extra like shirts with me because for sure like when you're at the shoot you'll be moving around, and especially if I
Mhm.
have like lights and I'll be moving around, and it's gonna be a workout so, with the heat and moving the stuff around. So I end up like after the shoot change and go to the editing and all that. But yeah, definitely crazy over here. It's a lot cooler over there, especially over there. But too cold sometimes. I mean, when you're
Yes. The winter, sometimes really I don't want to go out. Seriously, like even though I really want to take a picture, nope, it's too cold out there. You're gonna end up. Your hand is like you cannot move it, and your
Yeah.
face super. I don't know how to explain it, but super
Yeah,
cold.
yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, uh the weather conditions you have to adapt to the shoot sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this
Mhm.
video up. I mean, don't hang up. I tell this to Ria, like I'm gonna say bye and everything, but don't hang up. We can continue our talk after this. We'll take it offline.
All right.
But yeah, that's this week's episode, so to speak. We'll catch up not next week, in 2 weeks. We'll catch up in 2 weeks. And I don't know, if you're free, you can join us. Hopefully, Ria will be back from her adventures and all that stuff she's doing. And we'll see everyone else around.
Cheers.
Yeah, alright, bye guys.